Well, row markers or plant markers are a very important part of every garden. Whether you're just trying to find out where you've planted the plants or if you want to just keep records throughout the end of the season so you'll know if you want to grow them or not. And I'm going to show you a way that you and your kids can really personalize some row markers that will really liven up and color up your garden and landscape. And these are some very colorful ones, like I say, that you can use that really the kids will enjoy. Now, as far as the supplies that you want to use, you need some wax paper, some dowel rods that are about 12 inches long, some self-hardening clay, that's pretty easy to find at most craft stores, and then acrylic paints, and then of course some cookie cutters of various sizes and shapes. Now, we had one of our OBGA, or Oklahoma Botanical Garden and Arboretum volunteers, and her 3 sons practice and make these for us and kind of give us their feedback on it and how they liked it. And as I show you how to do one of them, I'll tell you some of their comments. But this is what the self-hardening clay looks like. It just comes in a plastic bag right out of the box. It's very soft and moist, and it's just kind of like using cookie dough in a way, or flour and water mixed up. And you just want to press it out. Now, most of the instructions that we found on types of projects like this say to make it about 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 inch thick. And this is about probably 1/4 inch here. And as Tammy told us, she found that that was really too thin, because as it dries, it shrinks up a little bit more. And these were about the 1/4 inch, and they're a little bit easier to break. And also, just in kneading it and working it, they found sometimes as it gets warmer, of course outside today it's a little cool, that sometimes it would get too soft and stick on the paper and on your hands a little bit more. So they did try a little bit of flour, which helped, I think, somewhat. But once you get them pressed out, then you can just use your cookie cutters and work those right in there. And also, we've found that, like, if you can't really find the design or shape that you would like, what you can do is make your own cookie cutter mold by using like cardboard. And what we're just going to do is pull these away from the edge first of all. But once you're using the cardboard, you would just lay them on top there. And as you lay them on top, then you can take a knife around the mold or the shape of the cardboard, and I think you'll have some luck with that too. Then we're going to just try to gently push this out. And they also told us this was a pretty hard part to do because it still wanted to stick somewhat to the mold. And so you end up with a lot of fingerprints. Now, probably the first thing that you're going to want to do is paint the dowels. And as you paint the dowels, really Tammy said that was the hardest thing to do, just trying to paint them. And you can use any color that you want to make it attractive to your particular row marker. But there you can see that we've cut one out, and really the next step is just to let them dry at room temperature for about 2 to 3 days. And they encourage you to rotate them a little bit, maybe turn them over so they'll dry more uniformly. And once they're dried, you can paint them. But a step that I forgot to tell you, first of all, is before they dry, you want to make sure you place the dowel right inside there. And that's why you'd want to paint those first of all. And then you just slide them right up through the center, and then you would let them dry. Now, let me show you what happened over here. After they dry, sometimes it loosens up a little bit and they'll want to slide out, and you can just use glue, just a type of Elmer's glue, to glue them back in there where they'll stay. And again, after they're dried, they encourage you to use varnish over them because the clay can absorb moisture again, so they're not really going to over weather outside. And so you want to use varnish on them. Now, Tammy tells me that her boys, Brad, Eric, and Matt, of the 3 boys, that Brad, the 6-year-old, seemed to enjoy it a little bit more than the 10 and the 12-year-old. So it's something you probably want to do with the younger kids. Again, very colorful and an excellent way to get your kids involved out in the garden. So something you might want to try to do before the garden season really gets kicked off.